they're showing off dual screen monitors on the thing, right? So one HDMI and one DisplayPort. Or actually, I don't know if you guys saw this, but daisy chaining through DisplayPort is possible with this DisplayPort.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, and they're also showing off the KDE desktop with Godot in one screen and Blender in the other, which is
oh my
pretty
god,
awesome.
they got the Gal Gadot engine on here. That's so cool.
Gal Gadot.
Wonder Woman.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know that DisplayPort daisy chain. That's actually really cool.
Yeah.
Which begs the question: how come there aren't more TVs with DisplayPort built in?
Because who's gonna daisy chain 2 TVs?
I'm gonna daisy chain 2 TVs.
No, you're not. You're not going to.
I'll do it, not to actually use it, but for the content.
Good morning, everybody. This is Off the Console, the hottest podcast that's all about gaming and tech news and anything nerdy. And this week, we're covering the biggest news possibly of PC gaming of all time. Valve announcing 3 different new PC hardware, gaming hardware SKUs. I'm so excited about this. I know you guys are too. We're also going to be talking about some other things, maybe the Game Awards. Who's going to be nominated? We'll speculate on that. Possibly getting to Bungie's acquisition. May not get to that quite yet, but yeah, this is going to be a good episode. I'm super stoked. But before we get into the actual news, what have you guys been doing this week? High Tech?
Nothing of importance except for making videos about the Steam hardware, which we'll be talking about later. Everyone knows what it is, but I want to get to it.
Yeah.
I want to get it today.
Yep. I want it right now. Okay. Well, James, what have you been playing? Anything interesting? Or
I beat Split Fiction with my wife. So
nice.
Yeah, Susie and I have been playing it on and off for a few months, and we beat the whole thing on Steam Deck. Like,
cool.
She played it on her Steam Deck, I played it on my Steam Deck, and it is so good. I can't tell you. Like, it feels like the classic days of like couch co-op, but with so much fusion into the genre. So I definitely recommend anyone to pick that up. And in fact, we could talk about it a little bit in the Game Awards later on. But I also picked up the Legion Go 2 this week, and I will say I took the sacrifice for everyone. I knew if I picked it up, Valve would be announcing something. So you guys are welcome. Luckily, they don't have reviews, or not reviews, but reservations or pre-purchasing yet, so I have time to save up. But yeah, the Legion Go 2 is actually a really good device. I really like it so far.
Are you keeping it?
So far, I'm going to keep it. It's
awesome.
Expensive, but it's one of those devices where later down the road, if I just want to have it without the controllers on it and just use it as a secondary PC with the touchscreen, it's sure. I really, really like the possibilities with that device.
Nice. That's awesome.
Nice.
And as far as me, I posted an article this morning on the Bryant blog about Mozilla and their AI thing. I've been so busy with like doing the Steam Deck, or not the Steam Deck. I'm gonna say that and make that mistake over and over again in this episode. But the Steam machines and everything, and then it kind of almost slipped through my attention, the fact that Mozilla's adding AI slop to their browser. We'll get to that in a bonus episode next week, but this week I'm kind of excited to just get to the news. Before we get to the news, though, make sure you guys get subscribed to the YouTube channel, because right now we are at, 600 something subscribers, and we're trying to get to 1,000. With your help, we can do it. Also, you can follow us on Castapod, which is like our awesome Fediverse hosted audio feed for the show, and that's podcast.subscribe2.me. And yeah, leave us a comment, let us know what you think about the episode, engage with us, let us know about any of the stories we're talking about, because we have a blast here and we love having you guys. There's also a Discord. We can't forget to mention we have a Discord channel.
Yes.
Yeah,
I was gonna remind you.
Discord is pretty fun. There's some great people in there. Seen some cool stuff. We saw somebody post my game on Kazeta. Like, they had made a Kazeta disc of like my game Doodling's Arcade Sports Ball, and they were
Oh.
playing it on there. That's pretty neat. I think his name's Mark. Shout out to Mark. Yeah, so let's get to the news, guys. I'm so excited about this. So was it Wednesday? Valve announced 3 new, and shout out to 3. They announced 3 new pieces of hardware, PC gaming hardware, a Steam Machine console, a Steam controller, and a new VR headset, the Steam Frame. Now, we've talked about and endlessly speculated about the Deckard and what was it, Fremont, right? Like, we've talked about that many times. I know each of us have talked about it on our own channels as well. Guys, who was expecting all 3 to drop this week?
Man, announcing all of this at once on just some random Wednesday is such a Valve thing to do.
I mean, we predicted it. If you go back in time, we predicted it kind of, except for
there were also like leaks.
I was hoping Half-Life 3, but I honestly, I really think
they got to keep some surprises.
Well, I think they released these 3 just as a middle finger. Like, okay, here's some hardware. We're going to do 3. We're not going to release a 3rd game of anything. So middle finger to you guys for trolling us for so long. We're going to troll back. I also think there's strong speculation that Half-Life 3 could also drop in the next few weeks too. So that'd be weird.
Well, did you see there's like a freeze frame from the trailer where the like one of the face plates for the Steam Machine says "Soon TM" on it. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I did.
Also,
there's Portal.
There was yeah. So like there's a shot of the Steam Machine in someone's living room, and there's a Chell figurine next to it, right? And then when it cuts, and they're playing, and you can see the TV that they're playing a game on it, and it's Cuphead, right? And then the very next cut is like a wide shot of the room behind the sofa. The Chell figurine is gone, but they're still playing what did I say? Cuphead. And so it's like it's very clearly the same living room. The Chell figurine's there, and then it's gone. What does that mean? I don't know.
You should share the video.
Oh yeah, I should do that, shouldn't I?
You should.
Well, that's for the audio listeners. They heard that, right?
Yeah, they did. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of things happening at once. To be honest, honestly, personally, I'm the most excited for the new Steam controller. Personally speaking.
Oh, me too.
But the Steam Machine is also very exciting, and not being a VR guy, I'd say I'm a little less interested in the Steam Frame, but it's still super interesting because of the fact that it runs ARM and all that good stuff.
Yeah, like from a technical standpoint, it is pretty cool.
It is very impressive on a technical standpoint. I still want to maybe get one though, but the big question, of course, is price. Now, I mean, personally speaking, the Steam controller is probably going to be like $60. I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't be.
Like 70 is what my guess is. It's probably going to cost similar to PS5. PS5 has a bunch of extra functionality to it that probably makes the cost go up a little bit. I could see Valve because it has capacitive touch, like on the touch handles or whatever, like the handles. It has capacitive touch to it, which is I'm sure going to add to the price and whatever else they add.
I don't see it being that much. I don't see it being much more than $70. I don't think it's going to be more than $70.
I can't imagine it being more than 70.
I couldn't either, but how much is the dock? The dock is also kind of expensive for the Steam Deck, so compared to
the
other brands,
$90, but
compared to
but the dock.
I'm just saying, guys, like it's if I'm doing comparisons on other docks and everything, like it's.
But to be fair, though, people do spend like $100 or so plus on their like controllers with back paddles, and they don't even have half the function. They don't even have half the functionality of a Steam controller. So I mean, honestly, I would be okay with 80. I wish it were cheaper naturally, but I mean, it probably isn't going to be too bad. The big question mark, of course, is the Steam Machine. How much is that going to cost? That's what's got the internet like.
Yeah,
frenzy.
I posted an article about this, and I said I thought it was going to be like $3.99. in retrospect, I was wrong about that. I think it's probably going to be more like $6.99. Um, because like essentially this is literally just PC hardware, and there would be nothing preventing like a company from coming in and buying like a heavily subsidized thing and then never using it to play games, right? This is literally just a computer. Um, I
Yeah.
I think that I think that there's a better chance that the index, or not the index, the frame is cheaper than the machine. Like
Mm,
Hold on.
I
Hold
honestly do. I
on.
mean, or at least they might be the same price. I just like Valve could subsidize the Steam frame because you can't really use that for anything besides PC gaming, right? But like
my
this
problem
you could use for anything.
is that it comes with a built-in, essentially computer or like a mobile device. So ARM has
Mm-hmm.
SteamOS built into it. If you watch all the interviews, or like at least all the hands-on by all the big tech people,
Mm-hmm.
they talk about the pricing, and the like for the Steam frame. They say it's going to be, I've heard, the same price as the Valve Index without the um, lighthouses. So what, around $800, $900.
Mm-hmm.
Inflation is a big. I think inflation and some other stuff that's going on with like AMD's pricing is also going to affect this. Then this, like, the Steam machine they mentioned is going to cost the same as an entry level small form factor PC, like PC, like for gaming. And so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that range, that, and it adds just more to the speculation, right? Like with all that, I've heard ranges from, like Gardner, like you said, like $400 to some people saying 1,000. I'm like, I think 1,000 would be crazy.
Yeah.
I think it only becomes subsidized if it goes under 500. I think even with tariffs and everything, I think the hardware in this is actually old enough
Mm-hmm.
to where they could get some good, decent prices on this. And so I don't know if it's going to be,
And I mean, the
uh,
Steam Deck itself, the original Steam Deck was also this way
yeah.
too. Because remember, Van Gogh was supposed to be in like a Microsoft product of some sort, but then I guess the deal fell through or some bullcrap like that. And then Valve swooped in and got a pretty good deal. And I mean, this hardware is, it's not, it says semi-custom, but it's not new
Mm-hmm.
hardware.
No.
So I'm sure AMD cut Valve a deal. All the price estimates, I believe, are, aside from like Moore's Law's Dead, he has a pretty decent breakdown because he's apparently worked on both sides. But a lot of the other people's estimations are based on the idea that you could buy a 7600 RX
Mm-hmm.
7600 for MSRP, but you know, Valve is going to be getting those cheaper than what we can get them
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
at.
Yeah.
Also, there's going to be two models too. There's going to be a 512 gigabyte and a 2 terabyte model. That's something that not a lot of people talk about. Heck, I didn't even talk about that,
Yeah.
to be honest. So,
Does it matter much? Because I think as for
eh,
entry level, heck, I'd even say most people could probably pop that thing open and swap out that drive, right? And so,
Yeah.
yeah, well, yeah, that's something really cool that was mentioned in Linus. That was not only mentioned in Linus Tech Tips video, but he also showed it off. Is that the RAM is replaceable, and also, wait, what's that noise? Yeah, there we go. Sorry about that. So the RAM is easily replaceable. It uses standard SOTA memory
Mm-hmm.
slots, and also the SSD is also replaceable as well. You can even fit a full-sized 2280 sized
Yeah.
SSD. So cheaper SSDs than cheaper than the 2230s that we've had to stick in our Steam decks.
Yeah.
yeah, that one's interesting because like the entry level 16 gigabytes of RAM is probably perfect, especially since it's there's dedicated VRAM, but the 16 gigabytes is probably perfect for most people. But for someone like me who likes to push things a little bit, and I'm sure everyone here like I'm speaking for myself, but likes to push things, I wouldn't mind upgrading that to like 32 or 64 and just see what else I can do with it.
Yeah.
I think you should do that.
And so it's interesting that they went that route. I wonder if it was just cheaper to go with a motherboard setup that had the SODOMs in it. It's interesting.
Well, I believe this motherboard was custom designed. Um, like according like for, I
Right.
think it was the LTT coverage that I saw. They were talking about being able to have the HDMI CEC stuff, turn the device on, shut it off, and do all that stuff. And most devices, like just off the shelf PC hardware, cannot do that. So they had to design that themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, I did hear about that. There's also the
No, I
fact that
don't know. Like HDMI has it built in. I think a lot of graphics cards have it built in, not the. But then again, this is like APU wise, right? So this is
Well, no,
built into the
a
motherboard.
dedicated
Yeah.
like piece of hardware. So I don't know. I don't know.
Interesting.
But like being able
You're
to
probably
sleep
right.
and wake the device, like
Yeah.
that's really what's going to happen when you have, if you turn your TV on, it's on that right
It should
HDMI
turn
channel,
on. Yeah.
then it's going to be able to turn off.
So it is worth mentioning that despite it being HDMI 2.0, it does have some 2.1 features, namely the ability to do 4K 120 hertz. And also, variable refresh rate HDR, CEC. But the only real issue, though, is the HDMI forum is kind of a pain in the butt to work with. If we go by AMD's, AMD talking about it. But yeah, so legally they can't call it HDMI 2.1, but it does have some of the features of HDMI 2.1. Now, it also has a display port, which, I mean, if you're going to use it as a PC, you should probably use that. I just kind of wish that I just kind of wish TVs had display port, but as we know, the HDMI forum is also helmed by a bunch of the big players in the TV space. So they probably don't
with
want a
the new
competitor.
specs coming out with HDMI though, what are like some of the big benefits of DisplayPort with a device like this?
Well, right here it says, right here on the Steam machine can do up to 4K 240 hertz or 8K 60 hertz.
Yeah, it all depends on what you hook up to it. But does the HDMI doesn't do that though, and older DisplayPorts can't do that. It all depends on the spec more than anything.
Yeah, it's DisplayPort 1.4. So also, let's talk about the USB ports, because as we know, USB ports are important. I saw Snazzy complain about there not being USB-C ports.
That they don't have more USB-C.
I think there needs to be at
agree.
least one USB-C in the front. It feels weird that there isn't.
Yeah, I agree that there should be more USB-C ports. The other part of his tweet I didn't agree with was that they should just outright remove all the USB-A ports. I don't agree with that.
I don't agree, but I'm in the boat of I wouldn't mind getting rid of more USB-A, and so I mean maybe one, but I really would. I really want to convert everything over to USB-C. I think it's so much better.
Yeah, I mean, so to me, there's two thoughts on that. The first is, why are there two Type 2 ports on the back? I think you really only need one, and then the other could be C or at least 3.2 Gen 1 on the back. And then having a USB-C port on the front makes sense, and it doesn't make sense that it's not there.
Yeah.
So another thing I want to talk about though is the fact that it's not USB 4 at all. The one USB-C port is USB 3.2 Gen 2. I'm never going to remember what each of these USB names do, especially since they changed them too. Yeah.
I have this Minisforum right here on my desk. It's got a very similar APU in it to what the Steam Deck has, or the Steam machine. God damn it! And it has USB 4 right here in the front, and then there's also another one on the back, as well as an Oculink port. It's like, it should be relatively trivial for those things to be included, and it doesn't seem like. I don't know.
I feel like, I mean, to be honest, the only reason people want USB 4 in these devices is for plugging up an external graphics card.
eGPUs.
I suspect it was
also there's. It can benefit from some high, an SSD,
like storage.
Could really benefit from that
SSD
too.
Is a good.
I guess that's good for future proofing. Also, I really don't like something like this not being future proofed enough. Honestly, I will say, with the Steam machine, I'm a little disappointed in that it feels like 4 years in the past being released today. That's what it feels like. I am excited for it. if they don't hit the price rating, like the price right, I think I'm going to be super disappointed in a device like
All
this. I
right.
know,
What?
sorry, that's a kind of a hard take, but I
So
just
I'm curious what you think would be too much for the price point.
too much. Anything
Yeah.
over $800, I think people are still going to buy. I think they'll still sell out. Honestly, watching the Xbox Ally X sell out, and how I think it's flawed is kind of and there's oh my gosh, that's a whole other topic, but I think says that people are going to buy this. This is going to sell out. That being said,
Hmm.
how successful this is depends on if they price it at like $500 or $800. I
Hmm.
think a device like this with a lot of the old tech in it should be around $500 personally.
Fair enough. So it also has gigabit Ethernet. I mean, that should just be the standard
Yeah.
these days. And Valve's one feature they talked about was this LED strip in the front.
Yeah.
Now,
It is pretty cool.
it is just an LED strip, yes, but it's also individually addressable and it's apparently customizable.
Mm.
Now, one use case that they mentioned multiple times is it can be used as a sort of download progress bar. That way you can start your download and then watch whatever on TV. I don't even watch TV anymore, to be honest, but I'll watch whatever on TV or my Jellyfin server, and then look, the bar's all the way filled. It's green. That means I'm ready to begin. I'm ready to
Yeah.
game. Or I'm surprised no one's shown like a disgusting looking RGB light show, because that's something I would do,
Hmm.
to be honest.
Well, I mean, when the download's done, like right here, it looks like let's go. Come on, where's the download? Right here. You can see that it does actually change colors, like after it finishes. Whoop whoop whoop. Right. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's
And
17.
they're
Oh, sorry.
showing off dual screen monitors on the thing, right? So one HDMI and one display port. Or actually, I don't know if you guys saw this, but daisy chaining through DisplayPort is possible with this DisplayPort.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, and they're
Did
also
you?
showing off the KDE desktop with Godot in
Godot,
one
yeah,
screen and
yeah.
Blender in the other, which is
Oh my
pretty
god, they
awesome.
got the Gal Gadot engine on here. That's so
The
cool.
Gala Godot.
Wonder Woman.
Okay, but real talk though. Yeah, I mean that's pretty cool. I didn't know that DisplayPort daisy chain. That's actually really cool.
Yeah.
Which begs the question: how come there aren't more TVs with DisplayPort built in?
This who's gonna daisy chain two TVs?
I'm gonna daisy chain two
No,
TVs.
you're not. You're not going to.
I'll do
I
it. Not to actually use it, but for the content.
Yeah.
I hear you. I hear you.
But anyways, yeah. Please bring DisplayPort to TVs. I beg you. I beg you, like Sony or LG or Samsung.
Hmm.
But I mean,
Well, they make money from being part of the HDMI consortium, right?
yeah, they can still have HDMI ports. I'm not telling them to remove it.
Okay, sell me it. Why display ports over HDMI? I want to be sold this. I've looked into it a long time ago, but I'm kind of curious. And maybe the
Because
listeners
it's
are
an
too.
open standard, not owned by a stupid cabal of companies.
Yeah.
And it's just as easy as HDMI. It only goes in one way, and it carries audio. And USB 4.0 is based entirely on DisplayPort. So if you want a feature where you can just plug your devices in via USB-C instead of HDMI, you gotta support DisplayPort.
It's been a long time since I looked into it, but yeah, okay, that makes sense. Having it open, I don't. I really don't. USB is also owned by a conglomerate of companies, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's
Or
a
is it
more open standard.
It's a little bit more open standard.
I mean,
With
so you can. So the
Thunderbolt
thing is,
being different, of course, but yeah.
yeah. So the thing is, but the difference between HDMI and USB, like technically, you can't say something is like USB or USB super speed or Gen 2 point whatever if you don't have like the license, but you can just put in a USB port on stuff. Technically, it's like violating HDMI forum whatever if you just put an HDMI port on something and call it HDMI. You can't do that at all. Like it's against the law in some way. It's like a patent or a copyright or trademark or something. But with USB, you can just do it. In fact, I think the RetroTink, I have a RetroTink and it doesn't call it an HDMI port. It just has an HDMI port on it. Because of like all the HDMI licensing bullshit.
So,
yeah.
all right,
I'd like a USB-C to just be the standard across the board on everything.
Mm-hmm.
So here's another thing too. HDMI apparently charges an annual fee to each high volume manufacturer and a per unit royalty, whereas DisplayPort is royalty free. Yeah, DisplayPort's also owned by a cabal of companies. Mainly VESA owns DisplayPort, I should mention.
Oh, okay.
But
so
I mean,
it isn't open source, or yeah, okay.
It's not like
so the thing is like they're just like USB. It's like you pay a fee to be part of the USB implementers forum. And when you do that, you get like your own company's like namespace in the USB ID, whatever. You don't have to do that though.
Yeah.
And like, but with HDMI, you have to be part of it in order to do like anything with HDMI to call it HDMI. And it's ridiculous. And
that is ridiculous.
Yeah. And the spec for DisplayPort is open. That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And also, so one more thing too. I do want to talk about the dimensions. So it's 152 millimeters tall, 162.4 millimeters deep, and 156 millimeters wide. Now, if we compare this to the GameCube, the dimensions are 150 times 161 times 110. It's slightly bigger than a GameCube, except for one dimension where it's a little bit bigger. So it's no secret that people are making comparisons to the GameCube. They're making jokes about the GameCube, like the GameCube. Of course, that's what we're going to call it from now on, probably. And I mean, someone's gonna have to 3D print a handle and put it on their GameCube, and also like paint it purple.
Yeah, or at least put like a GameCube faceplate on it, replaceable faceplate.
That's also a thing too.
There's going to be a lot of people modding this thing. That's one of the things I'm excited for this too. Is the specs? I think the specs are actually a little lackluster, but once again, I don't know what the price is. I wish they would have announced the price with the device. Yeah. But I think it's small form factor, which is fun. It's going to be customizable, right, with the faceplate. There's so much fun stuff that can be done with this.
One thing that they said, and this goes hand in hand with the modding, is in the announcement video when they were talking about the light bar, they said each LED is individually addressable, and they said the light bar is scriptable.
What?
They used the word scriptable, meaning that like it's user accessible and you can change any behavior like arbitrarily with the light bar.
Could we make it game reactive or audio reactive?
I would imagine.
That does sound pretty sick.
Dude, very cool. There's going to be like a huge community of mods. Like just like you can go and I don't remember what the website is, but you can get like, you know, Steam boot videos, right, for your deck. You'll be able to do the same thing with like scripts to mod your light bar's behavior. Like this is like Valve really knows how to appeal to their community. Which brings me to my question. If you're not already invested in the Steam ecosystem, would you buy this? You know, like if you're a console gamer and this costs like $200 more than a console, would you buy this?
That is a good question.
I think it really comes down to marketing, which is Valve's, I would say, weak spot when it comes like in the PC gaming world. It's not like it's they're not weak, but if they want to really make this more broad, if they did a good marketing campaign, which it sounds like maybe there's some inside stuff we don't know about that might prevent them, all they have to say is, hey, we have a sell 4 times a year or more where you can buy games at half the price you can typically on these other consoles. So at the end of the day, you're saving, like after 2 years, if you're buying like 10 games a year, you're going to be saving a lot more money. And when the Steam Machine 3, because I'm going to call this V2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 come out, they're transferable. I mean, I think Steam and these Steam devices should be really easy to sell to normal gamers that care about playing old games.
Yes. So here's my thing with that. So first we have to talk about the actual price itself. I think we should get it on record. I think it's going to be at minimum $500.
Yeah.
That's my going rate for it. I don't know what the 2 terabyte model is going to be, and quite frankly, I don't care. But the minimum price I think is going to be $500. I think that's going to be the secret sauce because let's go back to the Steam Deck. The Steam Deck was, for a lot of people, a new device, a new type of device that they've never seen before. And I think a lot of people were willing to jump on the chance, well, primarily because it was Valve, but also because it was $400. It was substantially cheaper than something like an Aya Neo. And I guess it just so happened that Valve also had the most powerful handheld when it released at the time. Right? Like if you remember before the Steam Deck, they were all running Vega graphics, or was a Nintendo Switch. And the Steam Deck blew all of that out of the water. It was not only more powerful, but a lot cheaper, and also had trackpads. So I think it really comes down to the price. It's a huge barrier of entry, especially for a platform you may not have games for at all. Yeah, there are a ton of great free games, and not just free to play games, but also just straight up free games to play. And I'm sure people like looked at the news and made a Steam account to claim Half-Life too for free. So I'm sure they have. I'm sure most people on that have a Steam account now have Half-Life. I'm sure of it. At the very least.
Yeah. So I just brought up the Moore's Law is Dead bill of materials estimate and comparing it to the Steam Deck. And I think he's probably got the most accurate bill of material estimate here. And so with these prices, I think they'd be making like $75 from every unit if they sold it for $500. I feel like Valve would probably do maybe more like $550, $125.
You have to remember with a lot of the stuff you have to take into account 2 to 5% mass manufacturing defective rate. So that's why you have to buffer in a little bit more, even if it's it's a loss leader. Even if they charge like $100 more, it could still be a loss leader depending on how good the device is. Well, how
manufacturing yields,
how manufacturing goes, and how if it's a higher defective rate. So it's always interesting because I think the Steam Deck, especially V1, had a lot higher manufacturing defect rate than people realize. But it will be interesting. I definitely think like 500 bare minimum. I think they could make up any of that, but it wouldn't be like a big revenue. And I don't know if they're going for that, but it sounds like, and I feel like it was, I don't know who I talked to or read this because I've had so many Discord discussions on this device that Valve might not want to hurt their partners because AK Microsoft and PlayStation post a lot of games on Steam, right? And so they might not want to undercut the console or say they're going to compete with the console.
Yeah.
So yeah, Linus also mentioned that as a personal speculation theory in his video as well. But
personally though, like, I mean, they're not going to hurt Microsoft. Microsoft isn't even selling consoles. Like, they're not in the console. I mean, they have consoles. They're not in the console game anymore. Like, so I don't think that they're going to hurt Microsoft at all. I think the big thing would be Sony, right?
And I think that Valve is just being careful not to call it a console. I don't think they're trying to imply that it's going to be way more expensive than a console because it's a PC. I think they're just trying to not call it one because like they don't want to get that stigma or be in the console war, or maybe, and like people aren't stupid. People will like believe what they don't know any better, to be honest. So I mean, so if they call it a console, they're gonna think, it's competing with people. People already think that, but I think they're trying to be careful not to fan the flames, if you will.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that actually matters that much. If they should just call it a console, because it is about the easiest experience you're going to get playing PC games on a device. Is the SteamOS?
There are
Yeah.
also there are also some concerns I have with it compared to consoles. So there are some benefits like free online play, but then some you can't play some of the biggest online games that you can on like an Xbox or a Nintendo Switch or an Xbox or a PlayStation. Like Fortnite, for example, is one. Imagine some kid buys this because he wants to get into PC gaming, but then he can't play Fortnite.
Mm.
Install Windows on it, I guess, but then
I mean, you could.
you have to go do that. I mean, do your research. I guess it's a learning moment.
Yeah, it is a learning
Yeah.
moment.
Or
Because at
play a
the end of
fun
the
game.
I mean,
Then
okay. I mean, to be fair, Fortnite is really big, and it is fun for some people. But yeah,
I don't know. There's just
you're not wrong. It is.
another
I
another
think
major
we
concern.
just need to sell enough. They need to sell enough to really showcase to these developers that they need to release um just a Linux version of their games, and hopefully
Another
this might help drive it.
another concern I have is, of course, a kind of a more niche situation, but split screen. Like let's look at a recent game that released. Borderlands 4 has split screen on consoles.
Mm.
Not on PC though, because for some, it's not a stupid arbitrary reason. I get it. A lot of PC gamers aren't sitting there with their buddies sitting next to a monitor playing, a split screen game on their big ass gaming computer. But this is playing the PC
I do
version of
it.
those same games, and like
Is
PCs are more than capable of doing split screen because consoles can do it. Right? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a mod that allows that for Borderlands?
I'm sure there's a mod or like an external program you can run that effectively does that, but
Hmm.
that's not the
Mm,
same thing as just having split screen built into the game.
Yeah.
if it
It's
ever
and
On
it's
is,
also
it's probably difficult.
on the flip side though, I mean, I feel like PC for at least for me, the way I play my PC games, most of my PC games that I play are the ones I'm interested in have local co-op. They're all indie games, of course. I don't really play
right.
like big AAA games, but I feel like there's a greater breadth of like fun experimental local co-op or local competitive multiplayer games that you just don't find on consoles anymore.
Right, I
Yeah.
get that too.
Okay,
And those are
here's the thing. Here's the thing, high tech. Like we're splitting hairs. Like if we can't call this a console because one game doesn't have split screen, when thousands of others that PlayStation doesn't even have potentially has split screen
I'm not
from
saying that at
20
all.
years ago. But I mean, I've played games that back in the day where it had split screen on one console where it didn't on another, and I can't remember what game it was, but I think it was like the PS2, like split. I don't know. I feel like it's split fiction or not split fiction, but
Time splitters.
time splitters maybe, where one console could support up to four, the other one could only support two.
Mhm.
I don't know. That's what I feel like.
Like
But yeah.
like I get it. I get why a lot of PC versions of games don't have split screen, and I get the fact that PC has a greater breadth of like local games you can play. Yeah. There's all that great stuff, but at the same time, though, does it not feel kind of sad that some people may just want to play the latest AAA game with co-op, I mean with split screen on a console, and then they expect kind of like a similar experience, at the very least a similar experience on the deck, or not the deck, the machine.
I
And I
yeah.
get it. It's not our wheelhouse. Heck, it's not even really my wheelhouse anymore either, because you could just because it's like online play. But like, I feel
Hey,
like
I'm
it
playing
bears
Borderlands
men.
4. I'm playing Borderlands 4 on the PS5 with my wife. So,
Split screen.
yeah, I'm
Can you
playing
do?
a split screen with her.
Can you
I
do
didn't
that on
want
the
to.
Steam machine?
I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know, but I would look into it before. Like, I think it's a learning moment for people to look
Yeah.
into stuff before you buy it.
And
I don't
I
know.
think also like this creates a demand for that where there hasn't been a huge demand for it previously. So
Yeah.
just when people I mean I don't know. I don't see that as a huge impediment to the success of the Steam machine. Like I think that really what it will come down to is like people with Steam machines will be like, hey, Gearbox, what the actual hell? Why can't we do, local?
Yeah, I do like that. I do think, yeah, they could patch it in the future.
Yeah.
I think they should. I
Yeah.
also, one more thing too is that I don't think Valve has a system like this, but like on Xbox or PlayStation, you have a system where you can have different like players log into their different user accounts on the system at the same time.
Yeah.
And so like in Borderlands on Xbox, if I sign into my account and I can play it, and then like my brother signs into like the same account on the same Xbox, and he can play, he has access to his characters. And if say like he wants to play by himself on that same Xbox, he can just log into his user account and play on his characters. And I don't think there's anything like that on Steam just yet. So I think that
No,
would have to be
not yet.
implemented before
But
we get split screen. Personally,
Yeah.
well, I mean, yeah, and it depends on the game too to support it because I don't even think some split screen games on PlayStation 5 have allowed for someone to play with their own account. Like I have a couple that I believe weren't able to. I think Borderlands you are, but the Borderlands split screen, honestly, that whole thing was kind of a fucked up experience. I'll be honest with the PlayStation 5 and just because getting it logged in, I think Susie I was logged in, but then she pressed the button first, and then she became first player, so it's on her account now. It's a whole weird situation with that, but I think we don't know enough about what software updates are going to come with this because they could make it so that it attaches. I don't know how well the software would support that to allow for multiple accounts, but I don't know. Maybe with demand, maybe when this comes out, we'll actually have some demand for that type of co-op play. Because before, like with Steam Deck and SteamOS, it's just like a single person on a single device, even though they would still hook it up to a TV. I think this is a very much different situation.
yeah, I mean, only time to tell. I do agree with Gardner that there might be a demand that wasn't there before for these sorts of split screen experiences on PC.
Yeah.
That said, I still think the biggest thing that could potentially kill the Steam machine before it's even born is the price. I think the price is the end all be all goal. Now, obviously, I think regardless of the price, I think we're all going to get one, right?
Well, I mean, if
You
it's
better believe
$2,000,
it.
I probably won't get one.
Oh yeah, if it's 2,000, if it's like under 1,000, we'll probably get one for the content, right?
I'm
Oh,
going
yeah.
to get one. Yeah.
Yes, I mean I am too.
Yeah, I'm
now, but I do think the price needs to be the right price.
Oh
If
yeah.
it's a
I mean, the
bad,
price will make or break it. If it's over $800, it's not going to be worth it.
yeah, it'll be the second time the Steam machines have failed, and that would be kind of unfortunate, to be honest.
Yeah.
last time it failed because of price to performance, didn't it? And the
it
varying
failed.
amount of different ones, like
The
different
last
SKUs.
time it failed because Valve's messaging was terrible.
Yeah.
Because there were like 30 different like options and none of them were the official option. And because like
They were all overpriced
they
compared
were
to.
all overpriced. Also, Proton did not exist when they launched at all. So you only had the option of playing Linux native
Half-Life.
games. Yeah.
Half-Life.
Honestly, it was a perfect storm of terrible decisions.
Yeah.
Valve resolved almost all of them. We have the Steam machine,
yes.
and we have, and then we have Proton, but we've yet to see if Valve can resolve the biggest issue, the price, because a lot of the Steam machines were overpriced compared to what you could buy with Windows. Like if you compare like the Alienware Alpha to like the Alienware Steam machine, the Alpha was cheaper and it ran Windows. And that shit shouldn't make sense, but somehow it happens.
I think this is going to open up a lot more devices that are going to be small form factor that'll use SteamOS also.
Yeah.
So even if the price is really high, I think there'll be some competition into it. I think I mean, it's just going to introduce more.
So, all right. So what do you guys
To
think
the
it's?
PC
So
world.
what? Sorry. So what do you guys think this is going to be? The Steam machine,
In terms of price,
the price. Like, let's
uh,
throw out a number.
I think it's realistically going to be like 550 or 6.
What about you, James?
It's going to be probably around $600, 700.
All right, and I'm going to say $500. So there are numbers. Hopefully, we'll get a price like in the next few weeks, and then we'll look back at episode 55. Yeah, this is episode 55. Yes. All right. So I think we have to talk about the Steam controller now because I think we haven't talked about any of the other devices.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and I think like the whole multiplayer thing is a very interesting aspect, right? Because the new Steam controller comes with that puck, and that puck can connect to up to 4 Steam controllers like simultaneously with like low latency and
Oh
what have
yeah.
you. So it's
Hell
very
yeah.
exciting. Let me bring up the video here. Yeah, like dude, Steam controller. So okay, of all the announcements, like I'm very excited about having a Steam machine too, and I'm very excited about having this the Steam frame, but I am most excited about a new Steam controller.
You said it.
That is like the thing that I have been waiting for since day 0 of the Steam Deck, is having a feature parity standalone controller that I could connect and play my Steam Deck on a TV. Um, the fact that we have that now and we have the Steam machine makes me very happy. There's some really cool features of the Steam controller as well, like the fact that it has the trackpads that are canted, so like it's going to be easier to reach and use. That's super exciting. Because like really honestly, like the biggest problem I have with the Deck's trackpads, I love them, but having to like readjust my grip to go down and reach them, it makes them less ergonomic to use than I would want. Um, and then there's more like more perceptible, like stronger haptics in this, because it not only has the haptics in the trackpads, but it also has 2 individual motors in the grips that can be um like adjusted to not only do like simple waveforms but complex waveforms. So I believe it was in the Tested interview where they told Norm from Tested that this is capable of doing like much more complex rumble, like what's the word, emulation, right? That's very exciting.
So I do like the new Steam controller a lot. Yes, I agree. It's also my most anticipated device out of all of 3 of these. But I do have to wonder, when can I get one of these? I want it now. And also one more thing too is the triggers, because dual stage triggers are something I really like in the old Steam controller, the original one. And these appear to not have those. They appear to have like a haptic option for like doing triggers. But I feel like haptics can't replace just having the dual stage triggers be, dual stage. So I'm wondering if Valve will ever revisit, having a dual stage trigger at some point.
Well, the Steam frames triggers do have dual stage, but the Steam controller doesn't apparently. So
Man,
that's yeah.
man.
But I think that makes sense to some degree because the frame has sort of more limited control options because of their form factor. So I can see that as being a reasonable compromise. And also, like, I believe in the Tested interview, Norm asked about like dual stage triggers on the Steam controller, and they said, "Oh, it's not dual stage; it's just haptics that are simulating it." And so, if Norm felt like it was dual stage, then I feel pretty good about that, because you can set up like the haptics to do something similar on the Steam Deck. Uh, it's not done by default, but it's possible to do, which is at least on that level, it gives me confidence.
Yes. And so you can actually use this on a lot of different devices that, you know, not just a PC or the Steam machine, but also on Android too. You could like connect it
Mhm.
via Bluetooth because it also has Bluetooth connectivity. But the puck is obviously preferred because it's going to be faster, like around 8 milliseconds end to end. Valve claims, and
Mhm.
yes, up to 4 controllers with one puck. And it's also, a magnetic charger too. That's also something
Mhm.
that it comes with it too. It's not just a random accessory. I also like that they use Balatro as an example of a game that supposedly doesn't support controllers, but Balatro has literal controller like inputs.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
I mean,
it's very interesting. Did you see the giant bomb video about this? Because I saw it after I posted my video.
no, I didn't. What do you say?
So the giant bomb video was I can't remember his name, but like they were actually like filming when Valve was demoing the units to people, right? To them specifically. And so they were showing how uh the right trackpad is mapped to using a cursor, right? Moving the cursor around the screen. And then the left trackpad, the left half is mapped to left click and the right half is mapped to right click. So and that seemed to like um the guy from Giant Bomb was like, "Oh, that's really cool," because like it was always kind of weird doing the triggers for clicking. So it seems like that was a better implementation for like using the um like playing Balatro with the trackpads. And he said he really liked that. And then what was the other thing that he said? Oh, and they showed off like the capacitive um grips as well. So you can like open your hand and like reorient the controller just like you would do with your mouse. Like if you come to the edge of your screen, you pick up the mouse and move it back, and then you can keep going. And they showed that it was like a much more natural thing where if you have, do I have a controller right here? I do have a Steam controller. Uh, Instead of like having to like keep your finger, like move your finger off the thing and then reorient it and then put your finger back down, you can just open your hand to do it and it feels more natural. um I'm very
That
excited about this, if you can't tell.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really have a whole lot to say about this. This is going to be awesome. I'm going to get one of these. Uh,
Mm.
and I think the last one, of course, is the Steam Frame. Now, personally, I'm not a VR kind of guy. I know Gardner is very much a VR person, so I think he's probably more excited about this than I am. But I am still pretty excited about this because of a number of things. First and foremost, it's an ARM-based Steam machine, so to speak.
Yes.
It's VR, and it also has a FEX-EMU now built in. So it must have progressed to the point where Valve was confident in putting it in like an actual like retail product.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
In the tested interview, which I think was like one of the longest things with official information, they were talking about how like early this year they got to a point where they would boot up random games in their testing and they would just expect the game to work through FEX. And it's actually become like the exception where a game doesn't work or has low or like bad performance. um which is very exciting. I mean, like they're going to have like a plays great on um like a what is it, deck verified. They're going to have a frame verified program as well, and that's going to be a lot of the legwork of like making sure your games work, the games you want to play will work on this. And not just VR games either. Like this is also going to play your flat screen games as well on a virtually projected screen. So imagine taking this on a freaking plane, dude, and playing like your Steam Deck games, like the games that you would have played on your Steam Deck on a virtual screen that fills your entire field of view on a plane. Like that's very, very, very exciting to me.
Mm. Now the big question is, I want to see how these games perform though, because yeah, I mean they said it's probably the exception that the game doesn't run at all or doesn't run well. But I would like to see some performance numbers at some point. Hopefully,
Yeah.
some VR guy will do this because I'm curious to see if this runs games better than the Steam Deck does. I really am.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and expect similar levels of Steam Deck performance on the headset. but like especially if you're going to be playing like more intense CPU bound games, you're going to end up with greater battery usage than if you're playing more simple GPU bound games.
Makes
From my
sense.
understanding, it's going to be a little less powerful than the Steam Deck, so
Okay.
I wouldn't expect it to be like 1-to-1, like 20%
Mhm.
performance that I think is what it is. We'll have to see though in real world, but
Yeah.
that's
And
what
the
I've
other
read.
thing is like where Proton versus FEX, like this is something that I find really interesting because I've seen a lot of people saying that like they're very similar, but they're actually quite dissimilar. Like Proton is an API abstraction layer. It's basically taking the Windows like API stack and re-implementing it in like a free software context, where FEX is literally just translating CPU instructions A to B. Um, and that is much more like a much simpler task in a lot of ways, but also has much more overhead versus Proton, right? So once they have like implemented all of the actual like x86 instructions and all the like extensions and everything in x86, it's just a matter of optimization, and then things will, like, if it works for one thing, it's probably going to work for every other thing that uses that same extension.
Is
But
that
if
real
it's,
time?
yeah,
Is it doing it real time? Because that like it should
I
be
believe so.
really efficient doing it at that level, but it's going to add a little bit of latency potentially.
As far as I understand it, it's real time. I don't think they're doing any like pre-caching or anything like that. I think this is like a just in time. I could be wrong about that, but
No,
I
no, no.
believe
You're
FEX is
probably right. I
just,
just was curious.
yeah. Um, but no, that's the really exciting thing though, is like once they have that in place, it's just going to work, and it's going to work better than Proton, where there are like little gotchas and edge cases that just don't exist at that low level of CPU instructions. So it's very exciting. And then also like because this is x8, because this is like x86 to ARM, that opens the door to other ARM products from Valve.
Yes, and we'll actually talk about that later in there
Mm,
because they're also updating SteamOS to support ARM. So I mean,
yeah.
yeah,
So yeah, I'm very, very excited about this. Like, and also like the new Steam controller just works with the headset, and the headset will track the Steam controller in real space. It has, yeah, the
ooh,
Steam controller has the same kind of LED arrangement as the frame controllers do, and so you can hold it up in front of your controller or in front of your frame, and it can see it in infrared and track it in real space.
yeah, man, the frame's gonna be cool. So all right, so we haven't talked about the pricing for any of the other units. We talked mostly about the machine, of course, because that's probably the biggest question here. But how much do you guys think the controller is going to be? Let's get that on record.
$65.
James,
That's what I want it to be.
69.
nice. I'm going to say 60. All right,
6-7, 6-7.
6-7, six
I don't know
seven.
what that means, but I've heard
That doesn't mean much.
It's from a song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, how about the Steam frame, though? Do you think that's going to be 6-7?
I think the Steam frame is probably going to be $700 or $800.
I'm
Well,
hoping $800, but who knows? With all these pricings, the tariffs and everything, it's probably going to be. There's a chance, and because they didn't want to announce it now, they also from my understanding, market volatility. We'll see. In a couple months, it could be like 1,000. I don't know.
so what's your official answer, though?
It's so hard to guess on these things with the way the market is. I think a year ago would have been so much easier. It should be honestly, it should be $800, but that's what I'm going to say is $800. But
I'm going to say 1,000.
yeah, I think
All
it's a
right.
very safe bet.
All right, so we'll check back. We'll check back on this episode in like a couple of weeks, hopefully, since these are all supposed to be coming out in early 2026. Now, I don't know about you, but I think early 2026 is going to be like Q1 of 2026.
Yeah.
or like in April, which is like Q2, I guess. I don't know if that still counts as early or not.
Early-ish.
Early-ish. All right, but
yeah. Moving on. Valve says it has a pretty good idea of what Steam Deck 2 is going to be and explains why it's holding off for now. High Tech, tell us about this.
Valve isn't interested in a mere 50% increase in performance at the same battery life. They want something greater. Now, I feel like a 50% increase in performance with the same level of battery would be pretty interesting. I feel like people would buy that now if they like. I think people would pre-order it if they announced it like at the same time, right?
Yeah.
But Valve has greater ambitions, and I'm curious what those ambitions are. 100% performance increase. What would that look like?
Mm.
I feel like Valve's waiting for UDNA, and I think the Fox also says this too. I genuinely think Valve is waiting for UDNA to come out.
Mm.
Did they push it off? I thought it was supposed to come out this year. Is it next year?
I don't know.
I think it was supposed to come out like according to leaked sources that this year, but it looks like they might be pushing it off another year or two.
I mean, we only have like one more month left this year.
Yeah, it's not going to happen this year.
Yeah, so that's basically it. Yeah, people were interested in the Steam Deck. The video was like, "Oh, we're happy with all the feedback we got about the Steam Deck, and we're super happy to share with you the future of Steam Deck." But this isn't that video. Oh man, I think the Steam Deck. Like earlier, you said that this might be the most important announcement Valve has made for PC gaming, maybe ever. But I think the Steam Deck 1 was that most important announcement ever, maybe.
Mm. Fair.
It definitely brought PC gaming to handheld, but I definitely think this device, if priced properly, like the Steam Machine, will be the most important device to probably come to PC gaming because if you look, like they base it all off of numbers. That's one thing we didn't mention too. They have so much survey data that they're basing a lot of their decisions off of that, which is actually smart. So the Steam Machine is going to be essentially this similar to the average PC that people are playing, which I don't know if that's good or not, but because a lot of potatoes. But yeah, I'm wondering if they're going to be basing the Steam Deck 2 off of some of that too. But
We shall see. We shall see in due time. Hopefully that comes out in 20. Hopefully it comes out before 2030. But we shall see. But I am more interested in SteamOS on ARM because that's going to be a thing now.
Yes, this is super duper exciting to me. And there's a lot of implications that I don't think people are thinking through with this as well. But tell us more about this, High Tech.
So when the Steam Frame launches, they're going to release an updated version of SteamOS that also includes ARM support as well. And some people have some crazy ideas as to what they're going to do, like install SteamOS on like your Ein Thor or whatever. And also, you can also install Android APKs on SteamOS too, and it would run like very well natively. Because I think it would come with Waydroid, of course.
Yeah.
But also because it's also ARM, there's probably very little in the way of needing to translate anything, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean, like Waydroid is going to handle most of the API stack for Android, and then it's just a matter of like, and Android also like has a lot of like non-native code that runs like Java and whatever, but like all the native stuff will just work out of the box, no issue. What I think is really interesting here too is that the MetaQuest 3 is ARM based, and that I think that Valve's doing this to get in on that, because that's where a lot of development for VR is focused right now, is on Meta hardware. So the fact that Valve now has CPU compatible standalone headset with the MetaQuest, that's a huge advantage for them. It gets all the Quest VR stuff into PC VR and vice versa, right? So it becomes, I think the frame becomes like probably one of the best options in terms of like what you can play on a standalone headset.
I mean, we also didn't even talk about the wireless option of streaming your games from your PC to your headset
Yeah,
too, with the 6 gigahertz adapter. But yeah,
yeah,
it's going to have a lot of options to play games on that headset.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
But this also means, right? And I haven't heard many people talk about this. This also means that Valve could distribute ARM binaries on Steam.
Mm-hmm.
And this also means that Steam has likely been ported to ARM on Linux. That's big news, right? Like that means that like going forward, we could see more ARM hardware from Valve. Or like you could install. I have the RetroPie device, right? Is it RetroPie? What is this? Retroid Pocket. That's what it is. I have the Retroid Pocket 5. You can it's an ARM based device. It has Android out of the factory. You can install Ubuntu on it. You can install other Linux distros, and then you can probably install Steam, a native Steam ARM build on this device, right? And play your.
Holy shit.
Think about that. Valve has beat Windows to market with like x86 emulation. Like, dude, and will Valve even bother to port Steam for ARM to Windows? We don't know. But like there's so many implications here about what this means, what the future of Steam on ARM looks like. It's pretty revolutionary.
I'm really curious about the SteamOS and ARM for like Mac Mini. I'm kind of curious, like if I got a Mac Mini, what it would be like. That'd be kind of fun to compare it to, like, and how well the emulation works on something like that, even if it is supported. I know that like, so the M chips are ARM based, and I do know that Proton works with the graphics cores that they have on the M chips, and so I'm kind of curious if that would all work, or if there's going to need to be a hack there too.
I'm pretty sure that Steam on the M5 chips is like native ARM.
I think it
code.
is. Like Steam itself is games though, and running games and software. Yeah. And
I think that they're distributing. You can run.
You can like Cyberpunk 2077 is an ARM based distribution on Macs, but I'm kind of curious if I can run SteamOS on my Mac chip, like SteamOS itself, not just the client, but the SteamOS. That'd be interesting.
Yeah,
that's what I'm curious about. Just completely, do it, just gutting Mac from it, the Mac OS, and putting SteamOS on it.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I mean, what I think we might end up doing instead is like Asahi Linux, because that has the like specific drivers which are not part of the Linux kernel yet, and then you would install the ARM client for Steam.
You're probably and that could be part of the thing is piecing apart, like maybe Bazite or something has a version. That'd be interesting too.
Man,
Absolutely.
Who needs Android anymore when you can just install SteamOS on your phone? Right? Would you guys do that if you could on your Android devices?
Install Steam on Android?
Install SteamOS on your phone instead of Android. If you could.
Well, I mean, I would be shocked if you did that and then you'd still have like 5G like or any of the calling features, but yeah, why not? It'd be fun to do.
Steam phone, Valve.
You have some Linux phones, don't you, Gardner? I mean, I do prefer it to be that way, right?
I have some Linux phones. None of them would stand up under the weight of the Steam client, I don't think. But
yeah. No, I'm just from like a FOSS standpoint, you'd prefer it if it had all the functionality. The problem is, does it? And I don't really game on my phone that much, I'll be honest. I use it for everything else. So me personally, especially Android wise, probably not, because I have to do a lot of development for companies for Android and iOS. Then I have to have the base. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to carry around a third SteamOS phone, but
Right.
if they sold a phone, I'd buy it.
I was gonna
I'll
say
do that.
like that. If Valve had a phone, like
I'd
if
buy
they made a phone, I would be so here for it.
Yeah.
Because like that would be, I mean, that would be everything I wanted the Librem 5 to be. Like I didn't really care about, you know, the privacy features with the switches and stuff. I cared about having a Linux phone, like, and not like an Android is Linux bullshit. Like I wanted a real Linux phone where I am in charge.
Dude, just install SteamOS on it.
There's so many drivers missing though.
Yeah, that's the big problem. And
But
dude, the battery life on the Librem 5 is like 15 minutes. It's ridiculous.
it will be interesting to see how SteamOS handles ARM, because with the VR headset, it's going to need to be pretty power efficient. So I'm sure they've optimized some stuff, but it would be interesting to see SteamOS because there's going to be so many mods, right? Someone's going to put it on and be able to get all the drivers compiled onto it. It's not like it's going to be hard. It's just, is it going to be practical and is it going to be efficient? Speaking of battery life, I think the VR, and just because we're talking about this, the Steam Frame I think has about a 20-watt battery, right? Yep. So it's got to be pretty efficient with that. Like where the Steam Deck, I think the first one had what, a 40 watt, 38 watt?
Yeah, 40 watt hour.
And so, I mean, it's half that. And so it'll be interesting to see how much more efficient the ARM is more efficient for battery. I can say that. But when you're running intensive graphical games or applications, like, it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. I read that they, like, in an optimal scenario, you're going to get 4 hours of battery life with the frame. And under heavy load, it's going to be less, like about an hour.
I've read an hour if you're playing the game on the device itself, 3 to 4 if you're streaming it. That's what I read, but I'm sure it's somewhere in between with lighter games. Yeah. Like what's Beat Saber? That's what we care about, right?
Beat Saber? Are you kidding me? That's really what I want this for.
Yeah.
And streaming like Half-Life Alyx, because I don't think this can play Half-Life Alyx.
Oh, I hear word has it Valve may be working on a ARM version of Half-Life Alyx optimized for the frame.
Yeah,
but I think the real game that people really want to see is Aperture Desk Job 2.
I want like an actual Portal game in VR that doesn't make me sick beyond reason.
I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah.
All right.
I think they could get there. It just depends. You can't be jumping around so much like in the Portal 2.
Yeah.
Yes, but jumping around topics, I think it's time to talk about the Game Awards, because that's happening soon. And no nominees have been announced just yet. That will be happening on Monday, but I figured we get this out of the way because I want to predict who wins Game of the Year. Who do you think is going to win Game of the Year?
Expedition. I think almost hands down. If it's a fair and democratic committee, it's going to be Expedition.
Dude, fair and democratic and the Game Awards does not go together.
I know. It's all subjective. I'm just messing. But Expedition 33 it deserves the title, and it's in the running for sure. There's a few other things that could maybe get it, though.
Who thinks Microsoft's going to buy an award for Doom, The Dark Ages?
I think Doom: The Dark Ages will deserve a game, but not Game of the Year. It will. I think it deserves an award potentially, but not Game of the Year for sure.
So I think Expedition has the highest chance of winning Game of the Year.
I think the internet's going to go crazy, and also there's already content creators that are like shitting all over it, saying no, it does not deserve it, even though they haven't played it, and they say. Arc Raiders, which I've heard great things, and I bought it. I'll be trying it out next week.
You're talking about Shroud, aren't you?
Yeah. and so, yes, I am talking about Shroud. And so,
you cannot take whatever you said seriously.
Oh, I know, but still, It was pretty harsh in the sense of Expedition 33 really does like it is the one of those studios that rose from the ashes of a French company that I'm not going to talk about that we don't like and made something amazing, and they have a great story. It's all around an amazing, I think, just game and game dev story. So I like that.
So usually the Game of the Year nominations includes one indie game. Who do you think is going to win Indie Game of the Year? Who do you think is going to win Indie Game of the Year? Silk Song or Hades 2?
Silk Song.
My money's on Silk Song.
100%. I think Hades 2, the problem with Hades 2, and it's always the problem of doing early access, is that or early release or whatever it is, you kind of release it then. Like in my mind, it released when they did that. Because I don't know if they needed to do too much more to complete it. And so they kind of fucked themselves up, I think, with that.
Yeah, in my mind, they released it when they screwed me over and stealth dropped it the same day I released Doodlings. But no.
Dude. Yo, imagine if they stealth dropped Hades 2, but then Silk Song like stealth dropped like right after. That would be so funny.
That would be funny.
But yeah, my money's on Silk Song being A, Indie Game of the Year, and B, being nominated for Game of the Year over Hades 2 in the indies in the obligatory indie slot. Because we all know there's an obligatory slot for like an indie game, right?
Yeah. Yeah, like meaning like for Game of the Year, or is there a Game of the Year
for Game of the Year, like straight up?
I thought that isn't there also an Indie Game of the Year? Or
there is.
Oh, okay.
What I'm saying is, there's Indie Game of the Year, and then there's a slot in the actual Game of the Year nomination for an indie game. Not officially, of course, but
they usually do that.
They do usually do that. Balatro was that game, if you remember.
That's crazy.
See, that's so right. I mean, what other games besides Expedition came out and Silk Song came out this year?
I've heard really good things, even though I bought it for my kids for the Switch 2. It's
oh wait, is it Kingdom Come Deliverance 2?
No, Kingdom Come is the Kingdom Come, like isn't that one's supposed to be pretty popular, but I doubt it's going to be in the Game of the Year.
Well, I can't think of many other games that came out this year.
Well, for the Switch 2, has Bonanza, Donkey Kong Bonanza. I've heard really good things about it. I'll let you know during Christmas when my kids get it, but I don't know if it's going to be Game of the Year, but I've heard from people that it is going to be it could be an award somewhere. But.
I could see it. Now, here's the real question though. Do you think Shroud is right in Arc Raiders should be nominated for Game of the Year?
I don't like seeing multiplayer games in Game of the Year personally, unless they are very exceptional. And Arc Raiders is the best extraction shooter. The problem is that I think it's I don't know. I haven't played it yet, so I can't tell you if it's the best. But I think it has a very hard high bar to beat with Expedition 33.
Absolutely. I don't think it's gonna win, but I think it stands a good chance of being nominated.
I think it will be I think it will win multiplayer Game of the Year probably.
Yeah, probably.
Or multiplayer, whatever. Yeah, it's gonna win a game, an award or two. There's just way too much. I think too many people that like it. And it's done really well, but
I also think it's recency bias too. But I think the last time a multiplayer
did it release? Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but did it release in soon enough to be nominated? Right, like it released a couple of weeks ago, so
yeah, it's still soon enough. Okay. So, like, here's my thing though. When's the last time? I think the last time a multiplayer game won Game of the Year was Overwatch 1, and that was a very different time. I remember base Overwatch 1 was a crazy good time. But do you think Overwatch, as it is now, would be nominated if it were to release today? No.
No, because I think Expedition 33. Because neither of you guys have played it, right? Like both is it. Weirdly enough, it gave me some respect for France. Not like, not to say like I shouldn't not like France, but like I really like. I was like, okay, they're getting back into their maybe being more. I mean, there always been. Man, I'm going all over the place with this, but
France is like the Japan of Europe.
I don't know if I go that far. But it's feeling like it. That this game coming out does make it feel like that. Except for their Japanese people are very polite, and you got French people that are probably going to be that are a little bit more rude. But it's their customs. So.
Ho ho ho.
Oh God. So yeah, it's it's really good. I really suggest anyone to play it. Like that likes good games to play it.
Quite so. I mean, game of the. I mean, this is sure going to be a fun one because this is going to be a fun game of the year. Also,
Well,
it's
what
gonna.
would your guys' be game of the year? So, not to cut in too much, but I'm kind of curious if you could nominate one this year.
Man, you don't want me in this position of power.
I don't think I've played enough games that have released this year to have a dog in this fight at all.
if we had to go off of what you played this year that came out this year, it'd be Doom Dark Ages, and you don't want that.
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I just don't want them to win any award because I did not like that game.
What I would do. I would do it for the memes, though. I would ban Expedition 33 again. I would use my vote to do that, just to see how the internet would react.
You're just trolling James now.
You're trolling, and the funny thing is, High Tech, the one that's losing on this is you because you haven't played it yet. It is such a good game, and you'd like it.
I'm sure I would like it. Yes, I just need the time.
It's so good. You've played plenty of games this year. You tried to 100% Bilatro. You just needed.
Dude, but I don't need to think when I do that.
I mean, you don't have to think either. You could just listen to them talk. But yeah, you're not wrong.
There's also it's happening. The live stream for the nominations is happening this Monday. We're not going to do that because that's stupid. We'll talk about the nominations next week, though, I'm sure. But
yeah,
the actual Game Awards is happening on December the 11th, and I think we're going to be streaming that for sure.
Yeah. Mark your calendars.
Mark your calendars. We're doing a special live stream edition, and there's going to be an audio version that releases later, but there's a lot of announcements that happen during the Game Awards too, so you should probably watch it on YouTube instead. You can either watch the VOD or you can watch it live. I would prefer you'd watch it live.
You'd have more fun if you watch live. We interact with the chat.
Oh yeah.
All right, next up we have the GTA layoff saga, where they're basically engaged in vicious union busting. Yeah, I don't know if you guys watched. I dropped the link in the chat to a People Make Games video where they were covering this. Did you guys see it?
I saw you posted the link, but I did not see the video itself.
It is a good video. They basically went and if you don't know, People Make Games has some really great content. They've covered a lot of like gaming stories in the past, and the fact that Rockstar North has fired a bunch of people for gross misconduct, and the rationale, and all of those people were had just joined a union for Rockstar game developers. This is clearly union busting on the part of Rockstar, and it's quite disgusting. It's quite disgusting behavior. So now 200 employees of Rockstar have signed a letter arguing that the management, they basically condemned what the management did here, and this is quite particularly I just lost my train of thought. It just seems like this is illegal behavior, especially for being in Europe and in the UK. So I don't know. I would love to know what you guys think about this story.
Oh, is this in UK?
Yeah.
So
I thought that. Oh,
yeah. So I don't think I think being in the UK is very different from being in the EU, especially since Brexit happened. So it's not quite the same impact, I would imagine.
They have better union laws than we do and ways to get around it, but they still have. It's still looser than the EU. of course, and it's more similar to America probably now, but probably
Well,
even more so now.
Well,
in the video I sent, they were talking about how the EU just passed but hasn't like implemented like workers' rights legislation. So
Mm.
they did this. Rockstar timed this in a way where they can kind of skirt around the anti-union busting stuff that the UK has done. Um, they timed it perfectly, but like basically hundreds of Rockstar employees are very pissed off. They signed this letter demanding that the fired employees get reinstated. Um,
or
yeah,
what? Or what?
huh?
The big
That's a
question
yeah.
is, or what? Because
Depends on what positions they have. Like,
Yeah.
if I was these, honestly, if I was a game developer, or like in these big companies, a year before they release a game, I think that's the best time to unionize. What are they going to
Yeah.
like? If they lay you off that game, I don't care. They could hire a whole like if they removed everyone that unionized, everyone unionized, if they laid them all off and they tried to hire some new people in to finish it, it is going to be a fucking disaster.
Yep.
honestly,
Flat out.
man, I want to see it. I love watching train wrecks happen in slow motion.
Yeah. And you know, when Bill was on, right, I offhandedly said that I want Rockstar, I want GTA 6 to be a failure, and then I like kind of walked that back, and I was like, well, it's never the people in charge that where the failure comes down on them, right? It's always the people that on the at the base level of a company that get hurt by that. But this right here, unionizing, is how you hold the people at the top accountable. And so,
Yeah.
you know, if these 200 employees here don't have their demands met, guess what? Join the union. James, you're exactly right. Like, this is the exact
Technically, you
time to
can't.
do it.
Yeah, they can't. They're not supposed like. Oh my gosh, they're not supposed to union bust. Union busting is highly illegal, but they get away with it because there are firms that specialize in union busting. And all you need is enough people to where it's impossible to union bust. If they
Yeah.
and they have Rockstar by the balls right now, like they literally do. If they just stopped working on the game that they keep on pushing off, that's in fact, who knows? Maybe they pushed it off a year because they know that they're going to be in some rocky waters with all this. They're going to lose so much more money than if they just unionized, and it's because they don't want to lose that power. And I will say this right now: this is like for anyone that doesn't believe in unions. This is why you have unions: is when people at the top, especially in the game industry, do not get laid off and have golden parachutes because they make horrible decisions and the workers always get laid off and always are affected. This is why you need, and especially in these creative fields, more power to the people that actually make the decisions, make the real decisions.
Mm-hmm. The people who make the actual games.
Unionizing game developers is only going to improve our games. In my and you can quote me on that if I'm wrong. In 10 years, when more and more, because more and more it's going to happen, you can quote me if I am wrong. Yeah, call me wrong, but I think it's only going to improve games. There's only one direction for this.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I agree. The big question is, what leverage do these workers have? Because they could all quit, but
they have all of the leverage right now. They could quit, which is a paycheck and all that, and that really does suck. But how many of them are going to get laid off now? Like, how are they going to be implementing AI? What's going to happen with Rockstar in the next few years?
Mm-hmm.
They all they have to do is take hostage essentially the release of GTA 6, and they could get whatever they wanted. I think at this point.
When you put it like that,
Take-Two has so much money invested in GTA 6 right now. If these 200 employees don't have their demands met and they join the union that these other people got fired for joining, they have all the leverage. Just like James said, I mean, this is like they have so much money and time in this. They cannot fire all 200 of these employees. If they do, they will have to delay GTA for another 2 years. Like, this is, and when it comes out, it will not be complete. Like, this is absolutely the perfect time to do that. It's it would be a genius maneuver if they had planned it.
I like it. I like the cut of your jib.
It's really, I will say this though, it's not, we make it sound like it's cut and dry that they should just unionize. It's easy. It is really hard to unionize because any whiff of unionizing, anything leaks. You have an asshole coworker, which I don't know if you guys have ever had an asshole coworker. I have.
Mhm.
I've worked in a bunch of different industries. There's always that one person that's just going to be an asshole and leak it. And once it's leaked, that's why unions never get created, because it leaks usually. And it gets busted before it has a real movement. That's the hard part.
Yeah.
Quite so, yes. Well, all we can do is put our faith in these 200, these brave 200. It should have been 300.
Gosh, that would be pretty good, actually. Well,
Yeah.
they can always go join Expedition 33, 34, 32. It'd be Expedition 32 if they came out with the second, but yeah. They could always go and join them in France if they're in the UK. I don't know.
The French and British getting together?
I think you'd be shocked at how much they get along. At times, when it matters.
Yes.
No wars in the past, decade, century or two.
All right. Well, dude, I think that's everything for this episode, but there is an extended bonus episode where we're talking about Gabe Newell's new yacht. We're going to be talking about the U.S. may owe $1 trillion if SCOTUS cancels Donald's tariffs. We're going to be talking about a bunch of stuff over on Patreon. It's exclusive to our Patreon. So if you want to listen to that, hang out with us in a more relaxed, even more relaxed setting than this is.
A hotter take.
We've got hotter takes and everything. Too hot for YouTube. Head over there to our Patreon.
I will say, Gardner.
Yeah.
And also, if your wallet's feeling a little tight, you can also become a free member over there, and we'll do a couple of updates there too for free members. So.
Yes, we're gonna have a bunch of stuff over there for people. So, yeah, thank you guys for listening. Thank you to my co-hosts, High Tech and James, for being here. We always have fun, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Sounds good. Peace out. Later, guys.